Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Peter here. Today's video is a first impressions video. I'm going to ease back into it. I'll do some full reviews soon though. And this is going to be from Orto Parisi and Slumberhouse. Orto Parisi being the second house from the nose that created the house of Nasamato. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know anything about these fragrances. I don't know the notes in any of them. So first of all, I'm going to smell them completely blind, not having a clue about any of them. Just a genuine first impression. And then I'm going to describe to you what I feel it gives me. Then I'm going to go in Fragrantica and look them up, and then read the notes and people's thoughts on them and see if that changes my opinion on them at all. If I suddenly smell something that I didn't smell before because of knowing it's there. I think it'd be interesting. So I'm going to pick them up in a random order. This one is Orto Parisi, can't pronounce the name, so I will put it up on the screen. So here we go. I'm not really a huge fan of the Nasamato line, if I'm honest. The only one that I really like is Pardon, which I own. And I'm going off it a little bit, I don't wear it as much. Okay, the first note that I'm pretty sure I smell is sandalwood. Maybe a little bit of cedar. I get woods. Predominantly I get sandalwood and maybe a little bit of cedar because it has this kind of roughness to it, whereas sandalwood is typically quite smooth. This feels like it's layered with, you know, a couple of different kind of woods here. There is something else, but I can't pinpoint it. Well, my impression to begin with is that it's a woody fragrance. It just smells of wood to me. I don't smell a whole lot going on here. It doesn't feel particularly complicated, but maybe this changes and develops. I have no idea. Top notes are very woody, and I like it. I mean, it smells good. I mean, I can't complain if it smells of cedarwood and sandalwood. It generally smells woody. It smells nice. We'll look it up afterwards, or should we look it up now? We'll look it up now. We'll do it one by one. So it'd be interesting to see what else is in this. So this one is called, I'll try and pronounce it, Boccanera. That I might be butchering the name here. Okay, so the notes are dark chocolate, sandalwood, chili pepper, black pepper, ginger and musk. Let me smell that again. I don't smell any of the chili pepper or any particularly of the black pepper. I don't get the ginger. I don't think the dark chocolate screams out, but there is a subtle sweetness. Now that I can read that it's dark chocolate, I get the sense of it. It's not overly sweet though. Maybe slightly more of a bitter dark chocolate. I think it gives the illusion of maybe like a dried, dusted chocolate. I think probably because of the way it's mixing with the sandalwood. So I do get the impression of chocolate now, which I didn't at the beginning. It smelled like sandalwood predominantly to me, and maybe like a bit of cedarwood because it had a bit more of a roughness to it. But personally, on the paper, I don't smell any of the spices. It's very sandalwood heavy to my nose from the paper. Interesting, but I do detect the chocolate now. It's listed, but it's not a sweet fragrance. Definitely not. Which is funny because chocolate is listed as a huge main note there, more than anything. So maybe that comes out more in skin. I don't know, or maybe it comes out a little bit later. From the first opening, it's very heavy on the sandalwood, which is nice. I like sandalwood. It's one of my favourite notes of perfume. But moving on. So this one is called Seminalis. So the idea of Orto Parisi is that these all come from body odours, you know, natural odours that the body produces. So, you know, some are meant to smell of poo, some are meant to smell of armpits and arse cracks, and you name it, Orto Parisi is, you know, influenced on it. So there you go. Very kind of animalic, kind of dirty body odour, going back to kind of more raw kind of smells. Okay, so this one, to me, smells, I mean, I might be completely wrong, I'm not an expert, but it reminds me of a synthetic called nolimbinol, which is used in more than one fragrance by Orto Parisi and Nasamato. He seems to like this note. I smell nolimbinol in here quite a lot, like a large amount of nolimbinol. And nolimbinol is described as a driftwood note. To me, nolimbinol is it's a little bit harsh. It almost has a slight dirty, musky sharpness to it. It's quite pungent. I get that. But this is also kind of creamy and smooth. There's definitely other things going on here. It's not just nolimbinol, but that is a note that I recognise. It's ever so slightly sweet. There is a definite subtle sweetness. Slightly milky or creamy. Pale woods. That kind of sharpness on the nolimbinol that almost gives an illusion of freshness. Not unpleasant. But doesn't particularly remind me of any other fragrance. I can't compare it to anything. This feels like it's very singular. It feels like it really wouldn't change much, like this smell would just be the smell for the whole fragrance. That gives me that impression. But it's not something that I particularly would want to smell of or would find appealing on somebody else. It smells very of a singular kind of accord that's not that interesting to me personally. It's not grabbing me. I'll look up the notes. We'll type it in now. There's absolutely no notes listed on Fragrantica for Seminalis. Someone described it as an armpit from the Middle East. I don't get that at all. It doesn't smell of BO, it doesn't smell of armpits. Another person says they smelled patchouli, cacao, tonka, vanilla, musk, benzoin, honey, and a condensed milk. Let me smell it again. I don't disagree with the patchouli, but it would be very subtle. And there is a subtle sweetness, so that could be vanilla and musk. But I personally smell a lot of nolimbinol. Yeah, not much to say. It's not very well described on Fragrantica. I guess it is a mystery. For anyone interested in what I'm talking about, this is nolimbinol. It's made by Feminiche, or Feminiche. I'm actually not sure how to pronounce that fragrance company, but they specialise in patenting and creating new molecules, new fragrances. But yeah, nolimbinol, dry woody driftwood, animal, amber, very tenacious. There you go. That's what it smells of to me. And moving on to the next one, we'll finish off with the other Orto Parisi before moving on to Slumberhouse. So this is called Stercus. So again, smelling it blind, not a clue what is in this. Give it a couple of seconds. Okay, from a first impression, it's slightly sweet, but in an unusual way. Almost borderline licorice sweet. Maybe even a tiny bit fruity. I don't know if fruity is the wrong word, but that kind of sweetness. I'm not even sure licorice is the right word. That might not be the best way to describe it, but it kind of has a nuance of that. This one's okay, but again, it's not enough going on. It smells very singular, like a single accord that doesn't smell like it's going to change. And you might like how it smells, you might not. It feels to me there's a subtle sweetness that briefly reminded me of licorice, but that kind of vibe has gone already. There is a soft woodiness. Okay, so looking it up. So looking this one up, again, there's no notes listed at all on Fragrantica, but people are saying it smells, some people are saying it smells floral, some people say tobacco, fruitiness, leather, smoke, woods, cherry, coke vibe, Smells like dark musty cinnamon, mahogany. There's completely mixed kind of reactions here. Some say it smells like black Afghano, a castoreum bomb. Doesn't smell of castoreum to me. Interesting. These obviously have very, you know, when no official notes are listed, it's interesting to see what people say and what people pick out. To me, this has an unusual fruity, almost kind of sweetness, vibes of licorice, with an obvious woodiness in the background. I know what people mean when someone said cinnamon. It does have, cinnamon is quite sweet, it's a sweet spice. And the sweetness in this is reminiscent of something like cinnamon. So I wouldn't be surprised if cinnamon is a note in here. But it's blended with this kind of a fruity kind of sweetness and these kind of woody notes. It's okay, none of them blow me away. They're nothing that I would rave about or get too excited about. I wouldn't purchase any of them from a first impression, being completely honest there. But then none of them are bad, they're just not that brilliant. So we're going to move on to Slumberhouse. So the first one is Kiste. Again, no clue what is in these. We'll do it blind and then we'll look it up like we just did. Okay, so this one's quite yellow. You can see that. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. It's coloured the paper. First impression, I would say I definitely smell hay, possibly tobacco, and a soft sweetness behind it. It smells pleasant, but again, not one that I would like. It doesn't blow my mind. It's not one that is overly exciting. It could do with a bit more interest there, if there was something, you know, more going on. But it definitely doesn't smell bad. It's just you would really need to like the note of hay here. Very strong hay note, slightly sweet, not much to describe. I guess you should look it up. I might be completely wrong. Hold on, Kiste. Here we go. Slumberhouse Kiste. So notes of pipe tobacco, peach. Really? Hay isn't listed at all. There's no hay note listed, so maybe I'm completely wrong. To me, it smells like hay and the tobacco vibe, and there is a sweetness there. I didn't pick it out as peach though. See, now I've read peach, I smell peach, but I wouldn't have guessed peach. Now that's been placed in my mind, yeah. Now I can smell peach and hay and tobacco. It says there's honey in there and mixed fruits. I don't particularly, at the moment, get the honey. It's more of a fruity sweetness. Tonka bean and patchouli. Those are the notes listed for Kiste. I think it smells okay. It would be nice if there was a little bit more going on and a little bit more interest. It just feels a little bit empty, like, I don't know, not quite full-bodied. Like if you were talking about a red wine, that's kind of, it needs a bit more flavour. So this one is called Ore. Very, very woody. That, I don't know if it's a mix of wood, but it's a darker kind of wood. Kind of cedar vibes. It's kind of making me want to sneeze, so it feels like there's pepper here. There's an ever so slight sweetness, but really the wood is the main driving body of the whole thing, is this wood. Very dusty, very dry kind of wood. Almost a slight tarry, resinous burnt aspect slightly. There is some kind of a sweetness in the background, but it's not overly really. This feels very wood centric, very dark wood, and a resinous, like there's a resin in there. It smells very like a block, very singular. Like all of these, it's surprising that they don't feel like they have a top, middle and base. They have like just an accord, a singular thing that you like it or you don't, and that's kind of what you get. A little bit of a resin which might be giving it the sweetness, it might be something else. It's okay, it's not something that I personally would want to walk around smelling like. It needs more going on. It feels like there's not enough there, like it just needs more interest. For me personally, it's not captivating enough. But we'll look at the notes. What was it called? Okay, so scrolling down here, okay. Peru balm, so that's the resin. There is pepper. There's a note of sage, didn't really get sage. You do get the pepper though. The wood is actually gaiac wood. It came across more like cedar to me. But I have gaiac wood here, hold on. This one. See, gaiac wood has more of a... The best way I can describe it is... This is a very dark, almost burnt wood. Like there's something about it that smells a little bit charred, a little bit dirty, a little bit burnt. There's also a resinous-y kind of sticky quality to it. But parallels with cedar, it has that same kind of rough, dark texture that cedar wood has. But this has got more of a charred, kind of burnt smell behind it. It's kind of more intense than cedar. A little bit more unique and flavourful. But with this one, I would guess that there is cedarwood in this, mixed with the gaiac wood. Cedar is not listed. But to me this smells like a mix. I mean, I might be completely wrong, that's just my opinion, but it feels like there would be cedar in there in my opinion. But with Peru balm and cacao is listed, which is interesting. I don't smell a chocolatey vibe, to be honest. But there is a subtle sweetness. I wasn't sure if it was from the resin though. But yeah, I would say dark wood and pepper with kind of a sweet kind of resin. Peru balm is slightly sweet. I've got Peru balm right here actually. I can see the sweetness more coming from this than the cacao. Interesting. None of them none of them feel that complex. None of them feel that interesting. They feel to me like unfinished paintings. Like you've got the sketch and you've got the colours kind of in, but you've not defined the shadows and you've not outlined it properly, and it's kind of missing the detail though. That's what these fragrances feel like. They're kind of, the image is there, but they're just missing the detail. That's how it comes across to me. They just need a bit more going on. That one is super strong, no limbinol. It's coming across more harsh now. Yeah. Whew. That was Seminalis. I'm glad I checked them out though. Never experienced Slumberhouse before. I've only smelled one from Orto Parisi in the past. So that's good. I'm glad I got to try them. More videos coming soon. I'm going to be doing first impressions of MB Parfums, which is all natural English house from Glastonbury, and we'll be doing first impressions of Abel, which is 100% natural. They're actually based in Amsterdam. I'll correct myself because I got that wrong in my coming home video, but it was all from memory, so I'm not, perfect. But they're from Amsterdam. The creator, the founder, is from New Zealand. The perfumer is a master perfumer from New Zealand who lives in Brazil, who works for one of the major fragrance corporations as a full-time master perfumer. So it's interesting smelling an all-natural perfume from a master perfumer. Usually we tend to find that natural perfumeries are made by self-taught perfumers, usually out of frustration wanting to create something natural because it's really not in the main mass market. So it's nice to smell a professional, classically trained perfumer's take on a natural fragrance. All of them were very tasteful, and definitely worth checking out if you're into natural. I actually bought Cobalt Amber, was my favourite. I bought some miniature. What I like is they offer 15ml bottles, not travel sprays, actual miniature bottles. So I bought a miniature of Cobalt Amber, which was my favourite one. And depending how I get through it, if I wear a lot of it, then I'll go ahead and buy a 50ml later. Very affordable, which I like, and you get 20% off if you buy the Discovery Pack like I did. Very affordable, nice, solid, well put together and well balanced fragrances. I think there is something in there for everybody, so I think that's cool. What else do I need to do? I've got so many samples. I've got all these samples that I got in Vegas still to go through. So much. So yeah, lots of videos to come. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you again in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.